All right, happy Tuesday. Let's see if we have many people here with us today. I think a lot of people are spring breaking this week. Let's see, we have Avery with us. So hello, Avery. Happy Tuesday. Oh, here comes someone else. Thank you for joining us today. We are going to go ahead and get started so that Mark has the full 30 minutes with us. We are happy to be celebrating the month of the military child this month in April. We have today with us Mark Patton, who is from the Military Child Education Coalition, also known as MCEC, and he will be talking to us about that organization and how they can help families throughout North Carolina. So Mark, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to you.
Great. Thank you much, Andrew. Good morning. Just as a quick intro, I am a retired Air Force, retired school teacher and counselor, retired college counselor and professor, and I've been doing working for MCEC as a military student consultant now for 8 years, which is kind of a long way of saying I'm old and I've done things. So I'm going to kind of flip through a bunch of slides kind of quickly about everything that we do. And then at the end, there's definitely some ways to get hold of, contact me. And I live in Morehead City, North Carolina. I work virtually around the world with families. I jumped forward really quickly. Okay, there we are. All right, that's me. So this is our mission. MCEC's been around about 27 years now, supporting military families. It started with a school superintendent whose husband was an Army general, and she came home one day and said, "We are not doing our kids any justice, and we're cheating them in terms of how much they move and everything." And her best friend's husband said, "Here's a check for $35. I was going to pay for," I remember the magazine now, that he was going to do the yearly, and he said, "Start a nonprofit." And so the joke is they started with $35. Our vision is every military connected child is college and work and life ready. Our old motto, which is the one I really love, is for the sake of the child. And that's what's on my shirts. And that's what I preach, because no matter what I'm doing in supporting a family, it's always going to be what's in the best interest of the child. So some of our programs that we have current grants and aim for is student achievement. How do we support our military connected students? And that's military connections of all types, active, guard, reserve, retired, veteran. And that also includes NOAA and our uniform public health service members. We have programs. I'll talk more about these programs here in a little bit. Parent support, we seek to inform and empower through workshops and webinars, especially when we talk about transitions. And then professional services, we are the national advocate for Purple Star Schools. If you have not heard about Purple Star Schools, number one, the state of North Carolina is pushing forward very quickly with that and has been for about 6 years now. It's kind of the good housekeeping seal of approval for a military connected family. They know that that school has staff with special training. They have a single point of contact for military connected kids. They have a website with resources, and they have some type of student-led mentoring program that, with the focus, don't let the new kids sit alone at the lunch table. So we, like I said, we're the national advocate for Purple Star. There's over 40 states and counting in terms of actions. There's only 3 states that do not. I won't point out those states, but you can see on the map what they are. And it is the challenge is to mitigate our highly mobile population. We bring not only advocacy, but experience, tools, and resources. We partner with 4 major universities, including the Syracuse Institute for Veteran and Military Families, to conduct research and publish and create programs based on that. We have professional learning communities for our school staffs and our parents, and we conduct programming on site and have already done 5 this year alone. We are aligned very closely with the Columbia University Center for Public Research and Leadership, and have been for about 20 years now. as well as Penn State's clearinghouse on military readiness. Those are two of our sources for both our survey and how we conduct research. Just as a real quick heads up, state of North Carolina is number 4. This is current stats as of a month ago in terms of where is our population by state. Interestingly, California is the most recent to sign on to Purple Star. Virginia was number 5, Texas was number 4, North Carolina was number 6 or number 3, depending on who you're talking to initiate that legislation. This is where our kids go to school. 70% almost attend our public schools. A growing number, thanks to COVID and some other issues, have gone homeschooling. The DoDEA schools have about 8%, and then you have about 8% that are in private schools. And there's a lot of private schools that are popped up specifically to address our military-connected families. These are the 5 major trends that we are assessing based on our most recent surveys. Youth mental health, wellness, and well-being, youth and caregiver roles, the transitions. What does all that mean? When I say the Military Interstate Compact Commission, most folks don't know what that is. That is the laws that protect our kids when they move. So for example, I work with a family from Virginia where they give A, B, C's, and D's. They moved to Mississippi that does number grades, and they just decided, okay, an A is equal to a 95. A B is equal to a 90 or an 85. And they just kind of arbitrarily, they even broke it down. If it was an AP class, they might give the student a 97. If it was just a basic class, they might give them a 93. So very erratic. And that comes into play when they start applying for scholarships in colleges. We also work, when we talk about transitions, not just moves and deployments, but we talk about when they transition out of the military. And then life readiness, like our vision statement says. Just to give you an idea, when we do our research and break it down, we come out with students, parents, and professionals. So we kind of look at the issues and say, what are we seeing and where do we want to focus our research efforts? So in our recent survey, feeling of acceptance, i.e. fitting in, fits right there with parents saying making friends. Our professionals, number 1 is always deployment, because sometimes that's sudden. If you were anywhere near Fort Bragg during 2019 in the rapid deployments, you know exactly what those 3 weeks. I felt like I lived at the old Pope Field Officers Club doing presentations 5 consecutive days. But if you look at 1 and 2 across the board, with the exception that the professionals where it's 2 and 3, it's making friends and feeling accepted as our top social concern from our surveys. Now, and throw that in as if you're an exceptional student, how much more smaller that window is to make friends. One of the things that we publish, and if you want to scan that is our current toolkit. It's a well-being toolkit that provides social emotional resources for students, counselors, administrators, for anybody who's working with military-connected youth. And if it's allowed to be published, it'll say, or copied, it says so on the website. We look at academics a lot because both in terms of being able to graduate and courses of study, we have a lot of variances in there. Just today on our committee meeting, we were talking about a family coming from a state where they no longer have a curriculum for those kids who want to go to community college and track in for something like HVAC or plumbing. And so we're having to figure out, how do we fit this kid in who's coming from a state that's what he wants to do, but theirs is different than ours. So curriculum, academic standards, and then moving mid-year. That's the nightmare of all of us, is moving mid-year. So our programs, I am one of the military student consultants. There's 2 of us. For lack of anything else, we say we run our call center on a 24/7 basis. We'll pick up and answer an email for watching TV at midnight. We have community coordinators in numerous locations, not just Texas, South Carolina, Alabama anymore. We have some in other states now. And our coordinators are to extend and have boots on the ground for our resources and support. We have a podcast that's about 30 minutes long across a number of topics. I'm hoping to nominate a young lady who advocated for herself as a military kid to be considered an in-state admission at a university where her family is actually longtime residents for tax purposes, but they've moved with the military. And the school considered her out of state just because they don't live there right now. Like I said, Purple Star support, we were the national advocate beginning in in North Carolina, about 2016 when I started. We were just pushing that out, and we have been pushing that for some time. We actually have training for it. We have a tool called School Quest to help with moves. It's not just for military connected kids, but it was designed with them in mind. We work with USA on this. It lets you store records online, but it also then extends and lets you kind of help a student build a resume as they move into later stages of high school. You can put in everything they've done in their high school career. It's also tied to a tool called FastWeb, where it does scholarship search. So it's a all-encompassing tool for a military connected kid, not just related to moves. And then we have started MCEC in Espanol. So all of our programming that we have is translated into Spanish. And we have 3 ladies who help run that program, and they are military connected spouses. Veteran support by nature, military connected veterans often get left out and not understanding what all is available to them in terms of resources. Probably one of the biggest areas that I've been working the last 4 months, this time of year especially, is high school students, their Chapter 35 benefits if their parents 100% disabled, or if they're permanent in total. GI Bill, there's been 6 changes just in the last 6-7 months that affect, at least according to the VA, when the GI Bill change happened, they've identified 1.15 million families who could end up getting an extra 12 months of GI Bill. And then we have our webinar series to support, and we do our webinars twice a week throughout the year. And once they are rotated off of our platform, they go to our YouTube channel, and they're available to be seen on demand. So our student programming, like I said, we talk student to student. That is, and again, it says right there, evidence-based. We try to make sure there's a program where kids are involved. They may not all be military connected through a parent. It may be their best friend. It may be somebody that they've just met on a sports team that's military connected. So we want to offer elementary, middle, and high schools a culture that defines relationships, that we agree with 100% acceptance, and we do some leadership. We actually have a student council, and we have a leadership program through Francis Hesselbein at West Point and at the Air Force Academy, soon to be adding, we think, the Naval Academy. Like I said, everything we do is research-based. We are currently pushing several programs that are multi-tiered systems of support. On our science advisory board, president is retired Air Force doctor and pediatrician Eric Flake. He is recognized as one of the experts. Like I said, we have an advisory council. We talk to these kids who come in. Some of them have attended Hasselbein, some are part of their S2S, but throughout the year we meet and say, what's going on in your school? What do we need to look at? How can we help? Hesselbein is exactly like it says, leadership development, civic engagement, community involvement. It talks to those kids specifically about how do you have a role as a military connected kid at being active in your future, in your school's future, and what you will ultimately pursue when you finish high school. Our newest program is the Caregiving Youth Student Leadership Program. We're national partners with the Elizabeth Dole Foundation and their Hidden Helpers program. So whether the veteran has a physical or mental injury, we're finding more and more that the kids have, they're providing helping roles, often to the detriment of what maybe they can do in the school. They may not be able to do sports because they go home and take care of a parent. They may not be able to do a club because they're doing the same. So we've identified those. We have a leadership program at University of Texas, San Antonio. We'll bring 10 to 12 kids in. That window, I think, is still open for another week for applications, and you can find that on our website. Phenomenal kids. I worked with some of them last year at our conference. And it's amazing what they've gone through, and they just kind of don't recognize that they're missing out on anything because they're providing support to a parent or parents in one case. Like I said, parent support, our webinars are every Tuesday and Wednesday. You can go to our parent page online and see the different topics, and they cover a myriad, and they are all updated at a minimum every year. Most are updated every 6 months. We can conduct workshops. You see a couple that we have listed here. Tell Me a Story, Together We Code, and Speedometry. They each have a different focus. Tell Me a Story is exactly what it says, empowering the use of literature and having a parent-student or parent-child connection with the idea of developing positive self-esteem. Probably two of the coolest ones we did. We did one 4 years ago at Pope Field on the flight line with the wing commander reading to the kids at the end of the flight line. Really cool event. And then we did one during COVID virtually from space with one of the astronauts reading to families at an elementary school. Together We Code is learning basic coding concepts at an elementary level and starting into that idea of computational thinking. And the whole purpose of that one is bolstering and creative as well as some motivation to understand the ideas behind problem solving when it comes to coding. Speedometry is exactly that. It's the concept of physics using Hot Wheels, and it's exactly like it sounds. You design track, you do, and all of these you can contact MCEC and find out how to get those in your child's school. This is Month of the Military Child. We've been celebrating that for 25 years now. Our toolkit is available online. Everything that's online can be downloaded and printed. And there's stickers, there's coloring books, a little bit of everything. There's been events going on the last 2 weeks across the country. I just attended one virtually with Durham Public Schools. Not Durham. Forgot the county now. But there'll be events going on across the country that recognize our military connected kids. And when I was in Fayetteville, we did one at a middle school that had a high school junior ROTC come down. And literally they did some demonstrations that had 700 plus middle school students in the stands on a football field, not talking. And to this day, I wish I'd saved that picture, because how many middle schoolers will sit still for 20 minutes and not speak? And then we have other resources on the website for Month of Military Child. One of the other things that we do for our staff is we have a professional learning community. They continue to grow, and they meet monthly virtually. And the idea is to keep everyone current on what does it mean to be a Purple Star? What are the trends? What are we seeing? How do we lend further support to our military connected kids? And one of the things that's come out of it is, how do we lend support to our military connected professionals? Because there's nothing like talking with someone and realizing you seem to be struggling, there's something wrong. Yes, my spouse just deployed. My spouse was involved in, and you're like, oh, they might need some support also. And I'm going fast, so I wanted to save time for questions if there were. Like I said, there's two of us. That's my counterpart, Terry. Excuse me. And myself, here's the best way to get hold. This is our general extension. My personal extension is 1150. And I can also, should have put my email on there. How did I forget my email? If you put msc@militarychild.org, you can put my name and it'll come directly to me. And there's just some resources that I use throughout today's presentation. And there's all of our social links. So I will stop there. I'll leave that up if you want, Andrea, and see if there's
Sure.
any questions.
Yeah, great. And for everyone that's joining us, we will send out this PowerPoint after to everyone. So you will have all that information. But I am going to go ahead and launch a quick poll. The grants that we work on require that we report back to them that what we're doing is useful, relevant, and of high quality. So if everyone that joined us could just complete that poll for us, it'd be greatly appreciated. And also open it up to any questions. I know some people came in a little bit later, so if there's any questions you have for Mark, we're happy to take those now. Feel free to put anything, any questions in the chat.
Yeah, and I didn't say it. My expertise that I've become known for is military connected scholarships for our kiddos and our spouses, as well as GI Bill, Chapter 35, and keeping up with the massive changes in those two programs just in the last 6 months. For the most part, it means more money for your students.
That's great. Thank you to those that are completing the poll. We appreciate it. Do you see that question? Mark, do you want
I
me to read it?
can. Yes, Hannah, I see yours. I'll answer yours real quick first. Yes is the bottom line answer to that. Divorce does not break the military connection for kids. Often there's no need to even contact the veteran for some of the programming because the VA will handle all the certification. Got several cases I'm working right now where spouses will not talk to spouses. So Together We Code, I am not the expert on that by any means. The intent is at the elementary age to introduce some of the concepts and the thought processes behind coding and getting kids. The whole focus is really getting kids into reading and technical reading at a young age and providing some motivation. But if you go to our website or if you shoot me an email, I'll put you in contact with the programming monitor for that program. Each of those have a different program monitor, and we can talk about ways to maybe bring that into your school.
Great questions. Any other questions?
I'll put my email in the chat
Sure.
since I did not put it on my slide.
I will mention our Tool Time Tuesday for next week, April 22nd. We are continuing with the month of the military child, so I hope you join us. Next Tuesday, we are going to be having representatives from EFMP, the Navy Exceptional Family Member Program, with us. So please join us for that as we continue the month.
And I also put my direct line that rings on my desk.
Awesome. All right. Well, if there are no further questions, we'll give you a few minutes back. Thank you so much, Mark, for joining us and providing all those amazing resources to our families. We appreciate your time.
And I'm going to run real quick too and join the bosses meeting.
Great. Have a nice day, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.